Kieran here with Boxing Bants, and I'm here joined with Robert Burke. Robert, I haven't spoken to you in a while. I think it's since
it's been a while, Kieran.
Since you signed with Boxing Ireland back in July 2019, I think it is. So,
yeah,
how have you been keeping?
Yeah, not too bad. A few ups and downs, Kieran, but at the moment, just staying positive and keeping things going. Had a few setbacks, had injuries, then I had pneumonia and that, and it was just. And it was nearly, to be honest, it was nearly calling it a day at the boxing, but a few good people around me and that kept me motivated. And then once we got started, I'm feeling great now,
Yeah. So you got pneumonia, I think, if I'm right in saying, it was near the end of 2019, which is kind of...
Yeah.
It's kind of... do you know what date was it? Do you have any idea what month it was that you had it?
It was just before the show, the last show in Belfast. The Celtic, what was it? Celtic Clash, was it?
Yeah.
Just before that, because I was actually signed up to fight on that show. And then I got pneumonia, and that was the end of it, to be honest.
Was that about January 2020? Is that right?
Yeah. It was around that time. See, I was only coming back from training. I had an operation on my stomach, so I was out of training for 16 weeks, and then I was told there's a fight day. So really, I tried to overtrain, undereat, and my body was ran down and shut down, kind of. Then just being in and out of the cold with sweat gear and everything, they just brought on pneumonia. It was in a bad way. So training for them for another 12 weeks.
Yeah,
it wasn't great now, to be honest.
It's when you think about it, it's kind of ironic in a way, because COVID had come in March, but like people were saying that they kind of possibly had it before, and pneumonia is something that people would get from COVID. So
I know what you mean. Some people are saying I probably had COVID, but I'm not too sure. Like, it's the same type of symptoms.
So tell me, when did you first get the symptoms of the pneumonia? Were you training one day, or what was it that
I was training, and I just when I went home to bed, so I couldn't breathe properly. And then when I lied on my right hand side, I literally couldn't lie on my back. It's very hard to explain. I couldn't breathe. And every time I took a deep breath, it was unbearable. So I went into hospital and that. Got x-rays and scans and that on my lungs and that, and I had pneumonia.
I'd say that was a bit scary for you, was it? Did you think it was something else?
Yeah, it was something I've never experienced before, Kieran. So it was a bit of a shock, because before that, I was a year non-stop training, active. I was in the elites. 8 days later, I fought my first pro fight. 8 weeks later, I fought my second one, but still on a 2-week notice. So I was flying fit. And then from that, I was grand. And then when I had the operation, I went from training every day and being healthy, everything, to then being out of training for 16 weeks. And when I was out of training for 16 weeks, when I finally got back to being able to train, I thought I could train the way I was already training. So my body didn't know what was happening. It was like my body just got a complete shock, I think, to be honest. And that's, I think, how it happened then. Because I just tried to go back to 10 sessions a week and everything else, less food. And your body can't just do that from the start. It has to be walked into it,
Yeah. It's funny. Oh, not funny, but I put up a video a few weeks ago, and it was Victor Conte on Joe Rogan a few years ago. He says boxers have this thing of twice a day, 6 days a week, and especially when they're not doing anything out of camp and they come and jump straight back into it. He had to start telling Nonito Donaire, he says, you're going to make yourself sick. He says because what happens is on Monday your white blood cell count is here, and it starts to go down and down and down. And if you don't have a rest day in that time, it keeps going down, and then you're susceptible to getting really serious illnesses. And so what Nair does now, he every 3 days he has a rest day.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because you think of boxers being so healthy and all that, but actually when you actually go too far the other way, something can happen like what happened to you.
Yeah, definitely. I know your health is your wealth. You have to kind of, you have to listen to the body as well. Like some days it's not my rest day, but if I'm tired, my body's aching, I'm taking a rest day. But it'll be an active rest. It'll get me steps in, get good walks in. I'll get onto the bike maybe. I'll get proper stretching in. So like I'll still be working on benefiting, you know.
Yeah. So you had pneumonia. What was your treatment like afterwards, and what was training like after you came out of pneumonia?
See, after I had pneumonia, I was told to stay out of the gym for 8 weeks, and I stayed out of it for 6. Went back in, tried to go back in sparring and everything else. I ended up back in hospital, and they told me to stay out then for another 6 weeks. So that's how that happened. I thought I was actually all right, like, and then when the medication went, like, because I was still on antibiotics, so when that came off me, that's when I felt it again, and it was the exact same pain, and they just told me, look, total rest, 6 weeks, another 6 weeks. So after that, I just kind of eased into it. I was easing into training then, you know.
Yeah. That must be difficult for you, for someone who's so fit all the time and not being able to breathe when you train.
Yeah.
Must be very difficult getting back.
It was very difficult, to be honest. Very difficult time in my life, because say with the 16 I was about 28 weeks not being able to train of the year, and still training people. Like, I'm a personal trainer, so I'm training people constantly. It was really mental torture. You're in the gym more than 8 hours a day, and you can't train once after being training twice a day most days.
Yeah,
very tough. You know?
And then I imagine you were only getting back in the swing of things, and then COVID happened.
Yeah. Stop. Yeah, really well. Actually only getting back to myself, but still a long way to go, but still had a bit of weight and that to call off me. But then COVID came. So since the first lockdown, what was it?
March.
The first lockdown, it was in March. And when the gyms and that closed, I just, for 2 weeks, I didn't do that and just ate and just, feeling down in the dumps. And then I said, look, I gotta do something. And I was saying, like, this nurses, there was nurses and doctors and that, like, they're not seeing their families and everything else while this COVID was going on. So I said, look, see, can I do something to help them, And one of my friends, Sean Boland, he gave me help, and I did a charity marathon run, and Kilmore Celtic as well gave me a good hand with it, like a good help with it, and ended up doing a charity run, a marathon during the COVID for training for a marathon, and ended up a good success. Like, I don't know, it was for a good cause as well. It was actually very good. It was a good day as well.
People don't realize because of obviously the restrictions, you did that marathon run in the park in the estate, didn't you?
Yeah, I did it around 500 meters of a big, like, it's a big green in Kilmore West there.
Yeah.
So 80 laps of it, for more than 80 laps, like.
I saw some great photos of people in the estate, like clapping your ears and your arm. There were some people that joined you, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a few lads that joined me. that really gave me a boost in it. Like some came in, some finished it with me as well. Some very good lads, you know.
Yeah.
And it was a community spirit. The whole community got involved in the end, and it was a great day. And there was just under 6,000 raised between the GoFundMe and on the day. So it's a good community day that was made, you know.
Yeah.
And it was all for a good cause for Beaumont Hospital.
That's good. And how much money did you raise?
It was 5,870, I think.
Wow, very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Wow, that's brilliant. So boxing wise, obviously you've had that spell where you know there was only really a 7-month gap between COVID. Yeah, maybe 7-8 months a gap between when you signed a Boxing Ireland and then when COVID happened. So it wasn't a lot of time in that time to actually get out. I think they had 2 shows in that time, and then COVID happened. So has it been difficult for you with the inactivity, keeping motivated? Like, you know, you're training in the gym. I know you were training in Pete's. So many lads that were having so many fights with MTK, and obviously Senan and Tony had fought twice. And was it difficult for you in particular with the inactivity in terms of
see, it was very difficult because I was coming off 28 weeks of not being trained and not being able to train with an operation and with pneumonia. So I came from that. Then I came into COVID. So like it was very frustrating. I was unfit. The lads were all flying. So unfit. I was definitely nowhere near like my potential at the time. You know what I mean? I was up at 98 kilo. You know that way. Yeah. So like I was heavy, I was slow, I was unfit. Mm-hmm. So it was mental. It was very frustrating at times, but just had to reset myself and refocus and just work on myself more than anything then. So like from a negative, I put COVID into a positive because I'm making the best out of like while there's nothing going on, the best me is on its way, you know that way, and I really believe that. Like I'm fitter than I've ever been at the moment. I'm feeling good. The weight's down now. I'm firing on all cylinders. I'm really looking forward to getting back in there. Like really seeing new me coming now, to be honest.
Yeah. So there's so obviously there's you announced that you were going to be fighting in North Carolina in March.
Yeah.
Declan obviously is on that show as well. Declan's going to be the main event for that. But I know Declan, through his links to Andy O'Neill, the cutman Andy O'Neill got on the show, and I imagine that's how you did it as well, because I know that's actually how you had your first 2 fights as a pro through Andy abroad.
Yeah.
Was it more of a case for you, just like, because obviously some fighters were fighting abroad in Poland and Spain and Belgium, were you just thinking, look, I'm just going to pay my own way and get myself out?
No, well, like see, it's only that way. Like Andy, was nearly giving up the boxing, to be honest, last year, and it's like just with more lockdowns, saying when's it? Like I want to fight in Ireland. Like I have a good crowd behind me as well, all supporting. Like I want to fight in front of all my own as well. Do you know what I want an Irish title, I want to be a white title, I want them. Do you know? So like it's nothing about the case of wanting to fight away. I just fighting at home when the crowds can be here, you know that way?
Right.
Like I was nearly giving up there before Christmas, and then I just said, look, I'm at that being through after having a great start and then a rocky 18 months. I says, look, I'm going to give myself the next 2 years the best possible chance. So if I give it all, I'll have no regrets. You know, if I give it up, I would have said, if I should have, could have, would have. I don't want to be a should have, could have, would have. I want to do it. So a really strong focus now. Going to give it a good go, see what the next year or so takes me, and just walk off that. Everything's just whatever's in front of me, that's all I'm looking at. Do you know that way?
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about the past anymore. It's about the present now, and the next fight, and after that is the one after that, and that's all I'm thinking about. But I want to fight in Ireland. I want to fight in Dublin. I want to fight in Belfast. I want to fight anywhere. I just want fights, you know. And that's the case now.
Yeah,
that's what I'm just ready to go, to be honest.
Yeah. So the fight in America was obviously it's about you getting out and fighting and stuff. So were you the person who contacted Andy?
And Andy just says to me, "Would I be interested?" I says, "Yeah, of course I would." So I just left it all with Andy. Andy's been a great help to me. He's always rang me and asked, see how I'm getting on. And he's a top lad, like he's a big help. He's been a big help for me, like, you know, good friend.
Yeah.
So we just left everything to Andy. He says, "You do the training, and I'll do the rest. I'll try to get you the fights and that. I'll help you out." So that's where it is with the North Carolina one. Mm-hmm. I just have to do my training and be ready for it, and I will be, you know.
What I imagine it's a 4 or 6 rounder. Do you know which?
We're looking for a 6 rounder. See, because the opponent's not announced yet, so still we're looking for 6 rounds. Mm-hmm. I want 6 rounds. You know.
Have you been given the option of any opponents?
I haven't even looked at it yet. Now I'm going to be on the phone to one of the promoters later on today, so I'll know more. I'll know more for next week. I'm not too sure at the moment, Kieran. Yeah. You know, but I don't really mind who it is, to be honest. I'm just ready to go. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, are you looking forward as well to going abroad? I know it's strange times and whatnot, but going to North Carolina, like it's a beautiful part of the world. I was there before. I worked in the States. I spent a bit of time there, but lovely part of the world. Like I'd say some of your friends and that are jealous of you, you know, because it's almost like that.
I wouldn't say jealous, but they're just delighted for me because they know how much it means to me. Yeah. You know that way. You know, look, I'm putting the work in. I'm putting the hours in, hours over hours. So. Look, they're delighted for me as well. Like, you know, they'd be happier if they could go, but at these times they can't, you know. Because there's some that actually would go, no problem, you know.
You mentioned there about fighting in Ireland, fighting for belts, BUI and all that. I imagine you've been kind of watching the domestic scene from the outside.
Yeah, well, yeah, we actually have, and I think it's gas, yeah. No, I have been watching. The 2 lads going on mad about themselves. Don't know.
Which lads?
I just looking and laughing at it.
Which lads?
Lads going tit for tat at each other. Kevin Cronin and don't know. Cronin, is it? A goal. You know.
Yeah. No, he's baiting you to say it.
Yeah, I know. No, but look at leave them at it. I don't know. You know, I'm not gone anywhere anyways. Mm-hmm. I haven't been mentioned, but I'm not gone anywhere. Yeah. Get this fight out of the way and we see where it takes. I'm just concentrating on this fight and putting in the work, getting a good performance in, see where it goes from there. Mm-hmm. But I'd love to be fighting either one of them when the time comes, you know. Mm.
You and Kevin is a massively realistic fight for BUI. 2-2-0. He's going to look for a 6 rounder next. You're going to look for a 6 rounder next. You'll both be eligible for the belt then, and it'll be internal. The fight. It's very easy to make, and the belt stays with Boxing Ireland either way. Yeah. I know. I can't imagine. Has it been mentioned to you yet, or is it something that you'd?
Yeah, it was mentioned to me before Christmas, but I haven't heard much then after it, you know. But yeah, look at it. I take it with open arms. To be honest, I take that fight tomorrow. You know.
Well, Leonard and Stephen Sharp mentioned that as soon as crowds are laid back, they're going to have a show in the National Stadium, and then the one after that then will be in the 3 Arena. I imagine that would be the ideal scenario for you because you're so close to the stadium, especially
Yeah, it'd be brilliant.
with your crowd and that. You and Kevin would seem like a very natural progression and fight to have on that.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. That'd be dreams coming true. The Three Arena or the stadium. My last amateur fight was in the elites in the National Stadium, and I loved the stadium. Always a great buzz, always great support as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'd love to be back there for a fight. Definitely love to be back there for a fight for the title as well, or the Three Arena, either one. But it doesn't matter really where the fight is. Just for the title would be great. Well, like even for the fight, I don't mind. You know.
Yeah.
Just to get there.
Right. Well, I think we've covered pretty much everything, Robert. But or Burke Up Fitness, should I say? But but no, I really appreciate your time, and it's been good to catch up. So I really hope. Can you tell anyone about the fight? Do you know if it's going to be streamed, anything like that, pay-per-view?
I'm not too sure yet, to be honest. It's 6 weeks away. It's the 26th of March, so I'll definitely know by 4 weeks out what the story is. But I'll definitely be trying to get it streamed if it's not already been streamed. You know, I'll be getting. I'll try to get it live on something. You know, so. Look, hopefully it is streamed. I'm not too sure yet, to be honest.
Yeah.
That goes on as well for a title, so I'm sure it will be. Yeah. You know? Hopefully it is.
Yeah. Well, look, for people watching this, if you keep up to date on my page and your page, the week of the fight, there'll be there. I'll put the stream in my bio if there's a stream. So, yeah, definitely. But, yeah, no, it's good catching up, Robert, and I look forward to watching the fight and speaking with you afterwards.
Thanks very much, Kieran. It's a pleasure as always. I'll chat to you soon.
Thanks very much. All right.
See you later, pal.